Welcome, awesomes. How's everyone doing? Welcome to week 2. Apologies for the tardiness of this video. Kind of had some a couple of things come up I had to take care of. So I did get this out to you. So oftentimes what I will do is send out like an overview for you to read, kind of get started thinking about the week, what we're going to do that week. And obviously this week we're talking about sticky ideas. We did some posts over the weekend. I'm still reading over and looking at those, and I'll make some comments on those down the road, probably later on this week. But by and large, I think we're all starting to think about sticky ideas kind of in a new and an interesting way. How sticky ideas apply to how we think about or what kind of things it is, what kind of things they are, how things get stuck, how we remember things, and of course, ultimately, how we think about those things when we sit down to write. We're going to kind of make this transition this week to talk about sticky ideas when it comes to writing. So oftentimes when we think about the ideas that come to us when we think about writing, I before E except after C, right? A lot of times we think about like spelling maxims, right? Or the rules of writing, punctuation, don't end or other grammar things like don't end a sentence with a preposition, right? Don't start a sentence with a coordinating conjunction like but, for, and, so, those kind of things, right? We think about some more like the mechanical and grammatical aspects of writing, but the kind of things I want us to think about, or hopefully eventually think about, are what are those writing what are some writing ideas, right? Skills, concepts, practices, things we can think about when we sit down to write that get stuck in our head that will then stick as we kind of think about them, that we then take with us, right? Stick some, in other words, we're going to learn, right? Learn some writing skills, some practices, things like that we can do to kind of help improve our writing. And so the example that I have here is one that I use quite often, especially if I'm stuck or if I'm writing. So sometimes we sit down and we write a sentence, right? Or we write 3 or 4 words, or maybe we write 2 or 3 sentences, and we look back at those sentences and we get caught up a lot of times in the rightness of it, right? And not think about writing as a process. So this idea here that get it down now, get it right later is kind of my example to have us start thinking about things like that. Are there some things like that? Those are the kind of things that I'd like to think about for project 1, perhaps, right? It may be that the majority of the things you sit down and that come to mind, right, that have stuck in your brain are more grammatical and mechanical. And we'll talk, and we're going to write about those, right? We will write about those. And then we'll think about other ideas that we can think of. So I went through here, just kind of set up for you a little bit, talked about how it was simple, unexpected, it was concrete, it was credible, right? And there's kind of a story. When you tell the story, it's more difficult to do kind of in writing. You talk about how Hemingway was trying to write the end of this thing, and he was trying to get it right instead of just get it down, right? So there's more to that story, and we'll expound upon that as we talk about, concreteness, as we go through the 6 principles, as test it for unexpectedness, concreteness, credibility. Does it have emotion, right? Does it need more to get emotion? Does the story need more? Does the phrase need more? And what do we want people? What is the emotion we want them to think about, right? In the case of get it down now, get it right later, is to hopefully make you feel hopeful, right? Less, and if anything, some of the emotion is to have us feel less apprehensive, right? Less concerned, less worried, freer to just sit down and get our ideas now and come back and worry about the details later. All right. So that's kind of a overview of the example that I used this week. And of course, this week too, we're going to continue on reading, in our book, so Made to Stick, Sticky Ideas. We'll think about actually stickiness, right? Especially now from principle 1, and that will be simplicity, right? So we'll get into some of the details. We'll start with simplicity, and then we're just going to work our way down. Also read chapters 1 and 7, and I'll post a week 2 discussion forum soon. I'll be back to talk more specifically even about project 1 in a later video, but I wanted to get you kind of thinking about this week. All right, you guys stay awesome. Have a great week. Happy Wednesday to you, and we'll talk again very, very, very soon. Stay safe. Stay awesome. Bye now, guys.